This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the EVP Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Beaker.
And I am one of your hosts, Ghosty.
Perfect. That was great.
Thanks, we practiced.
Yeah, we did.
For 2 hours.
Yeah. Just on how to do that. We didn't do any research for this upcoming episode.
No.
We just spent all the time that we had to research practicing on how to do the intro.
Mm-hmm. That sounded great. Just like we practiced.
Yay.
Just like we practiced.
All right. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah. You guys listened to last episode.
You better have.
It's not a question. I'm telling you, you did.
Yeah, you damn better have.
Because at this point, if you haven't, you need to stop and go back and listen to it so I'm not a liar.
About?
Saying they listened to the last episode.
They better have.
Yeah. Which was about a prison in Nevada.
The Nevada State Prison.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah, we will be going there, though. Hopefully in August, maybe.
I don't know if I want to go in August.
It'll be hot as shit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that'll be kind of brutal, because I bet it'd still be like 100-something degrees inside those cells, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it is still... No, I mean... Do you think they still have AC running?
I don't know. We can find out.
Yeah, we can.
I just text somebody. Maybe we'll go to Elko. Go to the commercial hotel.
Commercial. But yeah. What's this episode going?
I don't know.
What's going on here? What's going on here?
Look, I got tired of going to Nevada. So I decided we should just stay here in Utah.
Yeah, you got
this episode. Yeah. Well, I saw a news article recently. This is a place that's kind of near and dear to Utahns' heart. So this is going to be catering very specifically to people that live here in Utah. But it is probably not very well known outside of Utah. So if you don't live here, now you get a little bit of a history of this place in Utah that's called the Haunted Old Mill.
Dun, dun, dun.
Why is it called the Haunted Old Mill? We'll get to it. But first, let's start about a little history of the good old mill.
The old mill.
The old mill. So there was a historical placard that used to be on the property. And what it read, it said in 1880, the Deseret News Corporation purchased a 28-acre mill site, including water rights. With Henry Grow, architect and builder, the $150,000 structure made of granite from nearby quarries with mortar of clay and stone grindings took 3 years to erect. The 1860 paper machine from Sugar House Mill and some new machinery was installed. A 1,500-foot race brought water through the penstock to encased turbines. The plant could yield 5 tons of paper a day. And Chaz J. Lambert, manager, sold to Granite Paper Mills Company 1892, destroyed by fire in 1893, restored in 1927 as a recreational center. So this is a plaque that used to be on the property. It's not anymore, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But so we're going to talk about kind of how this mill came to be and what this mill did, other than make paper, or how they made the paper. So in June of 1850, Deseret News became the first established newspaper in the Mountain West. In order to reduce production costs, the LDS leader Brigham Young appointed Thomas Howard, who was a paper maker from England, to construct a paper mill in Sugar House. The machinery for this mill was updated several times, with pioneers trading parts between beet sugar, ironworking, and paper industries. Under the direction of Henry Grow, the Deseret News Company received new paper machinery and built the Cottonwood Paper Mill to house the old machinery for use as space in 1883. The new mill was built using leftover granite from the construction of the Salt Lake Temple.
So it was made out of some good shit, because that was high quality stone.
Yes, I mean, that's what's currently in the Salt Lake Temple.
Yep. And it's still, there's still ruins of this mill standing right now. It's almost...
For now.
For now, yes.
So the paper mill made paper, obviously, from cotton and linen rags. So what they do, they would take these rags and they would cook them and beat them to suspend the cellulose fibers in water. The fibers were then collected on framed screens that were dipped into the water. Now, the water was removed by stacking the frames between some felt sheets. And after the paper was dry, they were briefly soaked in gelatin or starch solutions and then dried again. And the reason why they did this is because this last step was called sizing, I guess, and it was done to prevent ink from feathering.
So I'm just trying to picture the way that they were building paper. It was pretty much so the stuff that's in our lint catcher and our dryers, that's the stuff that they were making paper out of, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, they were taking like linen and
yeah, just like
cloth.
Yeah, imagine how much lint you get in your dryer when you dry your towels. That's a lot. So yeah, you can make a whole book out of that.
But yeah, they were using this to make 5 tons of paper a year.
Right, just beating the shit out of rags.
A day, actually, it said a day. 5 tons of paper a day by compressing rags, old ass rags.
Interesting.
So the mill needed a constant supply of these rags, which were collected by the Deseret News, Public Works programs, and church initiatives. I thought this was interesting. In 1861, so we're kind of talking about the Sugar House Mill. I think the Cottonwood Mill came a little bit later, and the Cottonwood Mill is kind of the main focus of this episode. But in 1861, there was such a need for cotton, they actually asked a gentleman named George Goddard to go on a 3-year mission just to collect rags for the mill. Now, he did say that he felt this was a severe blow to his native pride, but he accepted the mission and went anyways.
Who told him to go?
I'm sure it was a quote-unquote calling from the good old LES church.
Yeah.
Said, hey, go on and get us some cotton. And he's not cotton.
Rags.
Cotton rags.
Get rags.
Get us some rags.
For 3 years, we need you to go collect rags. Leave your wife at home.
So, yeah, no, he left. And he went all the way from Franklin, Idaho to Sanpete County, Utah, which is a span of like 221 miles over this 3 years. So I looked it up. Sanpete's about central Utah, and Franklin, Idaho is like right on the border of Utah, Idaho.
Oh, okay.
So he went over like 200 miles over the 3 years gathering cotton. While he was out, on Sunday, he would actually preach sermons about rag collection. Yeah. During his time out, he collected over 100,000 pounds of rags. And in 1867, the Women's Relief Society took over the rag collection and organized regular rag drives to kind of make it easier to get the rags. I did read on one website they also used some of the nearby like wood, like trees and stuff that chops down. And
wondering when he's collecting rags, like is he just going around asking if anyone has any rags that he can have?
That's probably like old clothing that people didn't need or whatever.
He's just stealing clothes off people's lines.
Just old like washcloths. I have no idea.
He's just like they're growing out of the forest. He's just walking along picking rags up.
So, like I said, in 1883...
67.
Yeah, no, that was 1867.
Oh, okay. 1893. 1889.
It was like 1883. It was 1883 is when I think they built the Cottonwood Mill. And then...
1880.
Yeah, 1880. Well, it's when they started. It opened up in 1883 because it took 3 years to build.
Oh, okay.
So it was in operation for like 10 years, right? So it got to the point where paper became a lot cheaper to import when the railroad was completed nearby. So it was just easier to just ship in paper than it was to kind of collect all these rags and make paper. The Deseret News ended up selling the Cottonwood paper mill to the Granite Mills paper in 1892. Now, in 1893, during the last week in March, the mill reported that it had the most successful run in its history. The manager at the time was a gentleman named George Lambert, and he allowed his 30 employees to have an extra long weekend. Now, during this extended weekend, there was about 4 times the normal amount of paper inventory stocked due to bad roads preventing it from being transported. The mill actually ended up catching on fire on April 1st of 1893 at 3 o'clock in the morning. The watchman that was there was sleeping in the attic, and he was woken up by the sound of like the fire crackling.
The crackles.
Yes.
The crackling.
So this night watchman, he actually called Lambert and a bunch of other workers that were still around and asked them to come help put out the fire with water that they had nearby, like available. And
so there's a lot of houses nearby there, and there was alarms going off.
Probably not in 1893.
Well, there were still some people that lived close by.
Probably.
But they had alarms going off to warn people that there's a fire going on. And normally there would be people that running out to help. But because of the night that this happened on, it was the night before.
It was April
1st.
It wasn't the night before. It was April 1st.
Okay,
it was 3 o'clock in the morning, April 1st.
Yeah, so yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. Anyways.
I know what I mean because I said it.
You sure did. So everyone thought it was just an April Fool's joke, and they just rolled over in their bed and ignored it.
That's the rumors are the fire department didn't come because they thought it was an April Fool's Day joke. But so they couldn't put out the paper or the fire, but they were able to save about 3.5 tons of the paper stock. And it was reported that an employee named Nathan Stalker was injured trying to save the paper. And like you said, these guys were the only ones trying to put out the fire because people thought it was an April Fool's Day joke. Now, the fire destroyed most of the building's interior, including most of the equipment and the stockpile of paper. The amount that was paid out by the insurance company was not enough to cover the damage, so operations were suspended. The cause of the fire is still unknown, but it is speculated that it was ignited by soot sparks on the wood shingled roof.
Hmm.
So, fire in mystery, burning the place down.
Yeah. Well, at first when I was hearing about the story, I was thinking, oh man, this guy probably lit the fire himself and was trying to get an insurance claim. But after hearing more about it, no, he didn't.
No, I mean, they were trying to like lease it out for like 2 years before they finally sold it. So it's like they sell it and like a year later it burns down. So
they sabotaged it. They knew that they were stockpiling. They came back and they're like,
probably. It's like, yeah, let's do extra. The roads are bad. We can't ship it out. Burn it down. I have no idea. So after the fire, the mill was unused until it was rebuilt in 1927 by J.B. Walker. He turned it into an open-air dance hall and called it the Old Mill Club. Now, that was a pretty happening place, I guess, back in the day.
Yeah.
Up until World War II.
There's no one to dance with anymore.
No one to dance with because all the men were going off to war and food prices kind of climbed because everyone was rationing food. And so it just kind of made it like impractical to go out and dancing. I mean, you got World War II, you got the Great Depression kind of going on. There's just not a whole lot of reason to go out and spend money on dancing.
Right? They should turn it back into a paper mill and put everyone back, put the kids to work.
They should have, but they didn't. What they ended up doing was kind of letting it fizzle out because when the war was over, everyone kind of shifted to want to go to drive-in movies. So it kind of never regained its popularity as the dance club. Now, during the 60s, it did become, 60s and 70s, it did become kind of like a discotheque. Like it became like a nightclub.
It's a dance club.
Yeah, like a dance club. And I was reading some of the names of like the bands. They would have rock bands come and perform on Fridays and Saturdays. And one of the names I thought was interesting that was on the list was like Alice Cooper.
Yeah, that was the name I kept hearing over and over again. And I guess there was an iconic picture that he took in the ruins there, and it's like used quite a bit from the band. But I heard the Who played there too.
Probably.
Yeah,
there was a lot of big name bands. I didn't write down all of them. I just remembered. I was like, I want to remember the important one, Alice Cooper. I'm going to see him in a couple months. One of the rumors, or not rumors, but I guess it was like illegal to dance on Sundays here in Utah at the time.
Yes.
So there was a raid, like the police had set up. So they pulled up with like an empty bus and sat outside, and like right at midnight, they tried to arrest everybody that was still dancing because it was now Sunday. But from what I read, there was no actual like confirmed arrests from this event.
How boring was their job back then that they were like trying to set up a sting to catch people dancing on a Sunday?
It was the 60s
right as the clock strikes midnight. If you see those feet boogieing, you go down and break them up.
Let's get them.
What the hell? That's ridiculous. I'm glad that's not a law anymore.
Yeah, because you dance on Sundays?
Every Sunday I dance on Sundays. Naked.
I knew it. I know, I'm usually there. So during the 70s, in the late 70s, early 80s, into the 90s, they turned this on Halloween. They would turn it into a haunted house, like a haunted attraction, so people could come through and get scared and whatnot.
Yeah, I heard it was from the 80s, like early 80s to the early 90s. It was a spook house.
It was. And when it wasn't being used as a haunted house, it was used as a craft boutique where they sold like arts and stuff.
Nice.
And then eventually it just kind of shut down. And in 2005, it was condemned due to earthquake codes not being up to date.
Yeah.
And then like it's been the same owner since like 1987, from what I understand.
I heard it changed hands more, but it could be.
I think it changed hands between like the 20s all the way up into like the 80s, but
after that,
I think since 1987 it's been the same owners, and since it's been condemned, a lot of people have been targeting this for like vandalism and graffiti and theft. In 2011, there was someone that came in and stole over $20,000 of copper wires that were still in the building. And then the reason why the plaque is no longer there is because the owner happened to be going on site, and there was a couple people there that had already cut off 3 of the 4 bolts holding the plaque onto the building.
Holy shit.
So he happened to catch them in the act, so he just removed the plaque.
Damn. What the hell's up with people? Like, what are they going to do with that?
I have no idea. It's kind of, I'm glad he was there.
Like they're going to pass it on to their grandkids or something. Or it's like, we're going to take this big giant plaque and then we're just going to hide it for decades.
I have friends, I know people that stole street signs, so I don't know. Like people
street signs might make sense if it had a name of like their last name or something that means something
Bulldog Avenue.
Maybe that's the school they went to. That makes sense.
But yeah, it's just like it's this old, like falling apart building. One website I read said that they're pretty sure it's only held together by bird shit and graffiti.
That makes sense. I watched videos of people walking through there, and this dude, his foot went through one of the floorboards on the upper level.
That's insane. Like, yeah, this place is so like dangerous to walk through.
They're trespassing because everyone,
Well, it's gotten so bad to the point where, like, if you go there, there is a big chain link fence with barbed wire on the top all around the property.
Yeah.
And, like, the owners are constantly monitoring it. If you are caught trespassing, they will arrest you.
I heard they live right above it, and they can see down on it. And so if people are trespassing, they can, like, look down and see, all right, call the cops.
Yeah, they will prosecute. They're very adamant about people not going there. I would say it's dangerous. Like, I would say for safety reasons.
You can get really hurt. Yeah. So they were flying drones through there too, and recording with their drones, and they were showing like, oh yeah, there's a devil worshiping going on in here because there's a pentagram spray painted on the floor, but it's like really badly spray painted, and I think it was just somebody just doing it to do it, just to make the place seem spooky. But I don't think there's any recorded deaths there.
So now I don't know for sure or not. So here's some of the rumors of some of the stuff that has happened at the mill. Rumors. I'm putting these all under rumors because I couldn't find anything to like verify any of this information.
I'm putting them all under grains of salt.
Yep. That's where the rumor grains of salt. So people have reported that they've seen silhouettes of a hanged man in the windows. People say they see sound or hear sounds. They see sounds too when they're on acid. I think that's how you see sounds. I don't know.
Actually, real quick, when they started doing the raids and stuff and trying to, I heard what they did on Sundays is that they would do like laser shows and stuff like that.
Oh,
so
really?
People weren't dancing, but they could still go there and trip out.
They could. So people have heard sounds of a ghost dog barking, and there's also claims that dogs with their owners have appeared to be playing with the ghost dog.
So the story of the ghost dog comes from...
We're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
We can go there, actually.
I was going to say, go there.
Okay, so apparently there was a couple nomads and their dog got trapped in the building. There was a fire that started, and they all died in the fire.
It's nomads.
Nomads.
You're living off the land.
Yes. Now, apparently, I'm going to assume that like there's one local radio station on their website said that they verified that there were 3 deaths there, 2 of them being human. So I would assume it's the nomads. There are no actual like news articles, and as far as I can tell, there's no police reports or records of these deaths actually occurring. But according to one website here in Utah, they have confirmed it, and I don't know how. That's why I'm classifying all of this under rumors, because I couldn't find any actual evidence to back any of this up.
So here's my thoughts on this ghost dog. There are houses all around there, and I guarantee 1 out of every 2 or 3 houses has a dog.
Yeah, but what if it sounds like the barking's coming from inside the mill and not from up the hill?
Like an echo coming off, bouncing around?
Well, I mean, it is at the bottom of like a little steep canyon.
Yeah, I really would dismiss that.
Sound doesn't really travel down like that, though.
I don't know. I mean, if it came from inside there, even then, I would think there's animals running around this bitch.
Maybe. Yeah, dogs are broken and they're barking on the inside.
Yep.
Yep. And
They
then,
break through. Well, the fence is open.
well, the fence isn't open.
Well, it's not supposed to be open, but it's
Yeah,
open.
there's a spot where you can break. Don't break in.
There's a couple spots. I
So-
haven't been there to break in, but I have seen the spots.
Yeah. I know, you told me.
Yeah. I
You're
was
like, let's
trying
break
to-
in. I said,
Well, hey,
no.
you know what I saw? What we should go do?
Yeah, so he wants me to go because I'm fat and I don't run as
No,
fast.
I
So
was
I'll
saying
get
we should go
caught.
scare people trying to break in. We should go
should do that.
monitor it. We should go make sure no one's breaking in.
We got motion detectors so we can hide it. And when people like
For a really good deal, too.
try to break in,
Done for a really
we'd be
good
like,
deal.
boop, someone's trying to break in. Let's get them. And be like, whoop, whoop. You there with a flashlight. What are you doing?
Give me all your equipment and I won't bust your ass.
And $20.
$200.
$220 and 7 cents.
And then you can go.
Yeah. So, according to another article I read in 1893, there was a man named Leonard Butler. I can read. Where he supposedly had his face and hands really badly burnt by a shortened circuit, and later he suffered a crushed shin bone after he had an accident in the canyon nearby. Now, he later died in 1918 due to an electrical accident.
So this guy, he ended up he was just walking on the upper level and then just like was a flash arc.
Probably.
And then in the breaker box or whatever, right when he was in front of it, and it blew up right in front of his face. That sucks. It was like the wrong place at the right time.
I think the Butler family were like part owners or something at the
He
time.
was the owner.
Yeah, he was the owner.
Yeah, he was the owner. He was the new owner too. And then after that point, then soon after that, he crushed his leg, and then again with electrical. He might have caused it. Actually,
there sounds like there's
he
some-
was screwing with the electrical.
There sounds like there's some electrical stuff going on here. I wonder what really caused the fire.
You know what? I bet you that was operator error. I bet you he did
Operator,
something.
what are you, Nelson?
I thought he did. I bet you he did something to the breaker and was like thinking he knew what he was doing and was causing all the problems himself.
Maybe.
I watched this one video from an electrician he recorded something that was bad in this person's house, and like this old lady was saying, "Yeah, my son tried fixing that, blah blah blah. I don't know what's wrong with it." And then the electrician goes, "When did your son's house burn down?" She's all, "About 2 years ago." "Wait, how'd you know his house burned down?" And it was all because obviously the guy didn't know what he was doing and was gonna burn down houses left and right. So maybe this owner was trying to figure,
So there was apparently an electrical breaker in the building in 1893 that he was messing with. And
I bet you anything he thought he knew what his shit.
sure
and he
there
blew
was-
himself up.
I'm sure there was
twice.
I'm sure there were circuit breakers in buildings in 1893.
Something like that.
Probably.
Yeah, there was shit like that.
Yeah. And fire. It happened. That was a thing.
Poor guy, thinking he's
yeah.
an electrician when he's not.
Probably.
Blew his ass off.
Yeah. Probably not, but probably. We don't know. Let's ask
I'll
him.
guarantee he did.
So
I'll bet $100 to anybody that proves me wrong.
okay. I'll prove you wrong in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
No, I won't. Now, in June 27th of 1933, there was a night watchman that was living on site that poked a straw through his cup and made a really annoying sound. No, he woke up to the sound of breaking glass. And so he went to go check it out and found that there was this teenage boy breaking into the mill. He's like, "Hey, kind of like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. Why don't you just chill for a minute while I call the cops on you?" And like any teenage kid, he didn't go, "Oh, okay." He's like, "Peace out, bitch." And he took off running. So the night watchman shot the kid. And the kid was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Fortunately, he survived. And he ended up suing. I don't know. It didn't say if he sued the night watchman or if he sued the paper mill, the owners of the mill, or the dance club at the time. That was not clear. But yeah, he did survive and sue. So, and then in
So remember, shoot to kill.
Yes.
Shoot to kill. You won't get sued.
Yeah, especially in the 30s, there's no cameras, so they can't prove anything. So if you're a time traveler, shoot to kill.
Perfect.
Yes, in the 30s. Apparently in the 70s, there was a night watchman that committed suicide in front of his wife in the building.
Was that confirmed?
Like I said, I put all of this under rumors because I don't know. I think the night watchman shooting the kid in the 30s was actually true.
But the one about the guy killing himself in front of his wife and family.
Yeah, that's
because
nothing.
it's like, why is his family there?
So I think so far the two things of these creepy events that happened there, I think the guy getting burned by the electrical outlets,
But didn't die in there.
didn't die, and then the man shooting the kid, I think those were actually true, but the rest of the stuff is just kind of rumors. We talked about the nomads. We got apparently people have seen like a woman either waiting at the top of the stairs. She's either playing, walking, or crying, and they think it's possibly one of the nomads. But also, I've read a different article that said both the nomads were male, so I don't know. That's just speculation. This is all speculation. Now, people have claimed that they've seen lights turning on and off, even though the building hasn't had electricity in a very long time. And I think I know where you're going to go with this. What my theory on the lights turning on and off would be is kids breaking in and turning their flashlights on and off.
Yes, trespassers, exactly. And then them seeing figures in the windows, trespassers.
Probably trespassers. So people have also said they've seen doors and open and close by themselves.
Trespassers.
Wind.
Because
Trespassers.
there's a lot of missing glass in places where there should be. So the wind going through there.
This main building was like 3 floors tall, and
There's
like
a basement and then like a main open area with an upper level mezzanine.
There's like 3 floors.
Yeah.
And then on the one side there was a tower, which is like the elevator tower. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of cool in the one video where the kids broke in. It's not cool that they broke in.
The cool that they recorded the inside.
The recording that they did was kind of cool because they went up. They did go to the top of the tower, and it was actually a really cool view.
Yeah, but that's how you get caught by the owners.
Right. Now, people have also reported like random cold spots in there. People have said they've heard a woman's voice talking throughout the building. Apparently, electrical equipment malfunctions in the building, but will start working again when it's removed from the building. And then people say their battery-powered items often have the batteries drained very quickly while in the building. As far as like all the research I could do on this, like I didn't see anything like anyone dying there or nearby there. Not to say that that's what has to happen for it to be haunted, but it sounds like a lot of the lore that comes into play is just locals that, because it used to be a haunted house and it was called the Haunted Old Mill at the time of it being a haunted house, that name is kind of stuck. And stories are just passed down because everyone is like, oh yeah, I remember this one time I was there and this happened. And
yeah, and there was this old radio DJ locally that said that was like the scariest place he's ever been to, and he worked there as a haunted house when it was a haunted house. And I don't see how that place, I don't know what kind of bad things would be hanging out there. I don't know.
Oh, I can tell you.
Okay.
What kind of bad things? Junkies.
Yep. Junkies.
Transients.
Nomads, man.
Nomads. No, so here's the interesting thing. I've kind of known where it is for a little while. Our friends, the Finlays, had actually drove me by there once. We kind of parked across the street and was checking it out. I can tell you that I do know for sure that there are spirits in there. And one of them was a negative inhuman entity. So there are things there from my personal experience. Like I said, I didn't actually go in because it's trespassing and I don't want to get arrested. But from what I could actually kind of feel one of these entities' presence in the window, and it was daytime, and it wasn't like I was seeing a person poking their head around the corner. Like I could feel like their energy in the window, and I wasn't the only one because I think Annika was there as well as Terry and Mike, and we could all feel like there was a presence kind of in the upper, like the watchtower, kind of watching us. Could it have been a trespasser? Probably. But it didn't feel like it. It felt like it was something not human hanging out there.
I mean, it definitely could be from all the years that it sat vacant, as well as
by EVP standards, it's over 100 years old, so therefore it is haunted.
Exactly.
Like I said, the local radio DJ, he would tell stories about it all the time of like some of the scary stuff that happened to him there. And I wouldn't be surprised if like people have broken in and done some kind of like makeshift ritual that they shouldn't have, or trying to conduct a seance or something that they don't know what the hell they're doing and invite stuff in.
For as many places as people say that there are Satanists and devil worshiping going on.
Well, I said seance, not Satanist.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, because the pentagram's there and the rumors about the place. I mean, 1 in 4 people should be a Satanist. If that's that's the case.
By that logic, I agree with you.
Because I mean, every single place that is abandoned is just like overrun by devil worshiping and Satanists, and it's like.
So whenever we have Devio here, our guest is automatically a Satanist.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. 1 in 4 has got to be. 1 in 3, 1 in 4. Look around, everybody. So you're sitting around a bunch of devil worshiping Satanists right now, and you don't even know it.
Yeah. So look to the left, look to the right. If you don't see a Satanist, it's you.
You're the one.
You're the one.
You're going to hell.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if some people maybe snuck in and played with the Ouija board. And I'm not saying Ouija boards or talking boards, spirit boards, whatever you want to call it, are inherently bad. It's the people that are using them that don't know what the hell they're doing. Right. I've seen it on investigations or places where people have brought talking boards. They don't know what they're doing. They're trying to use it for the creepy factor because that's what Hollywood told them to do. Hollywood's like, these are evil, don't use them. So it's such a taboo thing now that people, that's what they want. They want to get scared. They want to get spooked out. So you get people that probably sneaking in there with a Ouija board because they think it's cool, and maybe they brought something in without realizing it.
Yeah, they probably thought, we're going to talk to some demons.
It's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what happened because I don't know for sure. I would only know if I was able to actually go there and investigate, and that's not going to happen. Especially if what the city planners or these real estate agents are wanting to do. The reason why I chose this topic this week is because it popped up in the news recently that they are looking to tear down this old mill and put up townhouses and condos.
Yeah, like 100-something condos and 60-something townhomes or something.
They've been targeting this place for years, and it all depends on if the owner wants to sell it or not. Now, it is a historical landmark. It was done so in 1971.
But there's no plaque to prove it.
It's at his house, but there was no provisions in that when it was made a national historical building saying it couldn't be torn down.
Okay, yeah.
So I've read one article where the owner has aspirations of fixing it up and turning it into a dance club again. I don't see that happening.
No.
Honestly, it's one of those do you let it sit there and keep getting bad, or do you sell it off and let townhomes be built? You know what I mean? It's like an old building that's just sitting there abandoned that no one's doing anything with.
I guarantee a lot of people are just dying to get their hands on one of those properties if it does get built, because it's right at the mouth of both Little Cottonwood and Big Cottonwood Canyons, where all the ski resorts are here. So I mean, all the people are going to come here for winter for skiing and everything, and that's the perfect place to stay.
I would get one and then I'd just rent it out to people.
I guarantee people are going to make a lot of money doing that.
Buy a little townhouse and just rent it out.
Yeah, I'm just giving a lot of people a lot of ideas right now. Everyone's just thinking about numbers.
Taking our ideas.
Yeah. Let's all buy some.
So, in my opinion, based on my experience just from driving by and kind of checking the place out, I do believe it is haunted, but I don't know how haunted it actually is.
I don't see there being activity there, though. I bet you anything, like you said, there are spirits there, but activity-wise, I don't see anybody getting activity.
I mean, it is a great place for a spirit to hang out without being interrupted or disturbed by anybody, because you can't go there.
It would be a really cool place to turn it back into a Halloween haunt, because those are huge here locally. That's a huge thing out here. And getting a place like that and turning it into a place that you could do a haunted place at, and then during the off season do ghost hunts.
Yes.
I mean, just if you're listening, owner, ideas. Here's some more ideas.
Let's buy it from them. Sell it to us for $5.
Yeah, I'll trade you a kayak for it.
Yeah. And a Little Caesars pizza, which is worth $5.
But yeah, that place. I'd investigate it if it was open.
I would.
I wouldn't expect there to be a lot of activity, but I would still try.
I don't know. According to that one local radio DJ, he claimed there was a lot of activity when he worked there, especially after it was closed at nighttime, because it was spooky.
That's the spooky hours.
Like I said, from my personal experience, there are spirits there, so it is entirely possible that he did experience those things.
Definitely could have.
But I don't know. I wasn't there.
I wasn't there either.
I would love to, like you said, I would love to investigate this place, but unfortunately, we cannot.
Maybe one day we can take ownership and do everything I just said.
Maybe one day. But until then, if you've had any personal experiences, if you worked at the haunted hotel,
Haunted hotel,
the haunted
mill.
hotel that is the old mill, during the 80s and 90s when it was a haunted house, and you had stories, if you had experiences there, we'd love to hear them. You can tell us at evp.pod@gmail.com, or you can check out our social medias at Facebook and Instagram, evp.pod. And then after you're done telling us all of your cool stories, you should go check out our affiliate link to ghoststop.com and buy some ghost hunting gear so you can go ghost hunting with us or other people. It's okay.
It's okay to have other friends.
Yes.
All right, go someone play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
This is the EVP Podcast.